Management of change, that's a very, very important piece. If we try to do anything in the yard, if it's going to be changes to the process, if it's going to be changes to staffing, anything like that, if there's changes that have taken place in a turnaround, all of that has to be documented. It's very important that we do that because management of change gives us the ability to have a bit of hindsight before we actually do something.
That's kind of the basis of the whole process. If you're going to change something or want to do something different than it's being done in the past, what better way to do it than sit down with a handful of people that are doing it and say, what do you think is going to happen if we do this? And everybody has an idea and get some input.
Let's say you're out in the field. We got a maintenance guy who wants to do some work and they want to replace a valve, and you know that piece of equipment. That valve is different, it looks different. If it's different, that requires a management of change. It goes through an entire process of checks and balances.
So it could be that we were on a backup pump for 6 months and the main pump was supposed to be repaired and never had been. There were issues where they wanted to change the operating limits on a unit, increase the temperature, increase the flow, without having really looked into it, what that would mean for their unit or the unit upstream or downstream for them. We had issues where folks were getting extra work given to them without there being assessment. Does it make sense for that to happen in the way that the company wants to do that? So a change could include anywhere from a change in operating temperatures, if they're bringing in a new chemical, if you've had a turnaround and you're bringing the unit back up and they haven't trained you. It could also mean that they want to do a staff reduction. It could also mean that they want to add more duties to existing positions. All of these things are things that need to be talked out and brought to management's attention, that we have to be consulted, that we have a say, that there's a process that needs to take place before these things happen.
I will take an employee and ask them to participate on the PSSR, and I explain to them, you know, it's an acronym. It stands for P, pre, means before. You start up, it's a safety review. I explain to them that they can only sign off if it's ready to start up. Let's say they had a system, they worked on the system, they brought in a new check valve, and the check valve is in, and I oftentimes get phone calls saying, can I sign off? The check valve is in, but the RV is not connected. Can you start up without an RV? And the answer is pretty much no. You can, I don't advise it. It's a layer of protection. It's where we get our LOPA from, layer of protection analysis. And I explain to them that those are safeguards put in place for all of our safety. The company wanted the employees to sign off on PSSRs for things that they had no expertise in. So what an operator has expertise in is his equipment. He understands how an exchanger works, how a heater works, how a pump works, but his expertise is not in instrumentation, it's not in electrical. And the company was trying to say all those things are one. And I said no. The operator will sign off for this piece, maintenance will sign off for their expertise.
There's management of change, and then there's management of organizational change. If there are going to be changes made to health and safety, emergency response, things along those lines, big organizational changes, that too has to be looked at and reviewed and see what the consequences of those actions are going to be. And again, that's a process we have to be involved in, that we are supposed to be involved in.
So being an employee of 30 years, I've seen my fair share of ownership changes. I've been owned by multiple companies, and with each company brings in a different management style, and each style is determined, or each company is determined to leave their mark and make the other one go away.
And so with each company, philosophies change, where one company using clamps over a certain amount of time to repair a leak is verboten. You have to fix it. Other companies work where it's a clamp and it stopped leaking, so we're good. And different operating philosophies come and go with different companies. So the only thing that we're left with at the end of the day as folks working in the refinery is what the standards are. Quick fixes rather than long-term fixes that really handle the problem need to be guarded against. Leaving things for later on down the line to be fixed rather than attacking them when they happen, that needs to be guarded against. Management has the ultimate responsibility for the safe operation of the refinery, but we have an important say in that as well. So with these new regulations, when the company says there's something that they want to change, we need to think about what that means and make sure that we speak up, and the new regulations give us that muscle to actually have our voices heard.
In the event you're in the field and you know that's a different piece of equipment and you have not received the management of change, call your PSM rep, your health and safety rep, get a hold of someone in your local union so that you can get that information.
So if management approaches you with any changes at all and you're unsure about it, you need to talk to your process safety management